In a relationship, I think I have anxious attachment style. Everybody knows I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. I get very passionate.
You know when they start dropping horoscopes, you dealing with a wild one.
I seem nice online and innocent and everything, but you guys do not know. I will go to battle with my yelling. With my
Bro, what else do we need? The Predators That Society Loves. A video by 4D Shams. Let's go ahead and dive into this. What kind of predators does society loves? I need to go back to school.
Excuse us. Good job, Chris. Happy birthday, my guy. Yeah, excuse me, sir.
Damn. Look at these whores. I'm kidding. But look at all these women following Chris, man. Sheesh. That's what life's like when you see Breezy.
Being a celebrity at that level has to be such a crazy experience, because imagine that many people following you around, trying to prey on your wealth and success, doing anything they can to attract you, but at the same time, none of it being
you're like a god at that point.
Genuine. That clip you just saw was of Chris Brown either going to or leaving an event and being followed by a multitude of fangirls, women, groupies, whatever you want to call them.
Right. Strip club is where we going, bro. This guy crazy.
What you saw in that clip was LeBron James going down an escalator that's going up.
Crazy.
And he did all that to avoid these groupies. These ladies have no shame whatsoever.
At all.
And keep in mind, LeBron James and Savannah James' marriage is as public as it gets.
They don't care about that.
They know that this is a happily married man with kids, and they're still pursuing him like this. So imagine what they're doing to the young, fresh, newly millionaire young men who are just hitting the scene. The athletes, the musicians, the actors, whatever field it may be, especially when it's a field where you have a public image, you're at high risk of falling prey to these type of tricks. And just to give you another example of how desperate some of these women can be, watch this clip.
Hell nah. She can't even stay in her seat. Now we gotta break up. I can't be outside with you acting like this over some random nigga that's singing. She broke free, bro. She broke free like a wide receiver trying to get free from the defense. Wow. Damn. Just so she can be a little closer.
Yeah, that's where the relationship would have ended. And look, obviously this isn't every lady out there who's a fan of a guy with some status. I'm not saying that at all. But a lot of these ladies will act super fanned out about these celebrities, but at the end of the day, all they see them as is a check. And even in a situation where, let's say, one of these celebrity guys actually takes a liking to one of these girls, if they're ever in a situation where they could stand to gain some profit or, you know, some financial gain, they're more than likely gonna go with that route. And I don't think you guys understand how aggressive these ladies are. It got to the point where you got artists like Drake pouring hot sauce inside their used glizzy wrapper.
Crazy.
This dude was literally afraid that the girl would go inside the trash can and find a way to insert the magic fluid inside herself. Do you know the experiences you have to go through for you to even start thinking like that?
Yeah.
That man was acting off straight PTSD. Like, I'm pretty sure Drake has seen a lot of crazy stuff, especially when dealing with these girls. And if you want another example to really—
And that's really just Drake. He's doing the most at that point. Because he honestly could use lemon juice. He could use anything that was incredibly acidic. He could use all kinds of things. But the hot sauce is extra because he's like, listen, if you want this baby, if you want this nut, you gonna have to earn it. You gonna have to endure some pain. How bad you want it. Now, I do believe the hot sauce probably, it's too acidic. It destroys the seed, the semen. But, you know, it's just extra. It's just to spite them.
Be convinced. We have the Omale situation. If you don't know who Omale is, he's an African musician, and he had this concert where this girl who was with her boyfriend basically left her boyfriend to get on stage with Omale.
Crazy.
And what proceeded to go down was kind of crazy.
Oh, they must have had to mute the audio for copyright. Dang, bro. Look at how bro got his hands all up on her, man. Chat, what you doing if this yours? This your shorty. This your shorty. She putting it up on the gram. Holding his hand. Time to go back behind the curtain. I tell you what, by the time she get off that stage, she not seeing me. I'm gone. I am gone. She gonna have to call an Uber, get her ass home. Number blocked, everything, bro. It's over. We done. They ain't no coming back from this. You crazy.
Watch as Shorty tries to throw it back on dude and then he swerves past
that
her.
Make it even worse. You thirsting over bro don't even want you. You supposed to be my girl. You insane. You're insane.
Do you know how embarrassing that is? Not only on her part,
that's nasty,
but on her man's part. So not only is she disloyal, but she's also getting curved.
Well, a lady left her boyfriend and joined Omale on stage. What is all that? You got me, bro. Nah. Oh, hell nah. Where bro at? Where bro? Oh man, bro. Look at bro's face.
You know what I'm saying? That's tough.
Look at bro's face. Just watching that. Dog, you gotta get out of there. Look at her. She looking at him like, oh, damn, you just gonna watch? You just gonna let that happen, huh? That's crazy.
Bro's soul looks destroyed. I don't even know how he kept it together because I personally would have crashed out. And now that you guys understand how desperate some of these women can get, I hope it also makes it easier to understand.
I'm not crashing out. I'm just dipping.
That some of these young millionaires could also be victims. A perfect example is the Xavier Worthy situation. Xavier Worthy is an NFL football player.
Okay.
So basically the story goes, around the time he was getting drafted into the NFL, he hired a private investigator to investigate his then girlfriend. He finds out that she's cheating, goes to his home and finds her with the dude. And basically as he was trying to kick her out, she fakes assault, injures herself and orchestrates a whole scene. I'm talking she wrecked the house to make it seem like he put hands on her, when in truth, she's the one who put hands on him. She even ripped out some of his dreadlocks.
Whoa. Ooh.
Bro went above and beyond with the proposal. She walking up all emotional. I wonder in that moment if
bro, you can't be doing all of this. Nah, no sir.
She was doing behind his back was going through her head. Yeah, not gonna lie, this might be the sell of the century. And all this tells me is no matter how up you are, no matter how successful, no matter how many zeros you got in your bank account or how many things you've accomplished, if your girl is going, she's going, bro. And once she realized that she basically messed up her bag, that she lost her meal ticket and was exposed, claiming domestic abuse was basically her last ditch effort to get back at him. And that's why I'm not surprised. Shoot, I'm a little bit proud when these athletes do stuff like this.
He can do that. He's a kid who's very explosive. He'll take that big hit, hold on to the football, knows how to find the open area in that defense. Obviously, coming out of Oklahoma, they schemed to get him the football, so route running, we'll have to transition.
Brief intermission. I'm trying to get to 100K subs, so I'd appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe on this channel and on my. More of these young successful guys gotta do a better job of looking out for themselves, setting those boundaries and being on their P's and Q's, especially if they're not married to these girls. At the end of the day, a girlfriend is just a title. Anyone could wake up any day and just decide not to be your girlfriend or boyfriend. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do the same thing in a marriage, but it's a little bit harder because now there's paperwork, property, possibly kids. Although the guy still has a lot more to lose, the wife could also stand to lose some things if the husband set up the contract in a way that protects him. And I also can't forget to mention the parents who look out for their kids, especially the mothers who do stuff like this.
So the Titans get themselves a big tackle in Isaiah Wilson from Georgia. Came from Brooklyn Poly Prep Country Day. Need a little time to adapt.
Moms was like, bitch, if you don't get your ass up out of this chair, this is not your moment. You just met him 3 months ago. I don't even like you. If you don't get your milkshake ass up out of this chair, me sit down beside my baby. I'm the one that took him to practice, huh? I'm the one who bought him shoes, huh?
A great example is
I'm the one that cooked him dinner, huh? When he came home hungry after practice, you just here trying to get an easy check. But you know, she can't do nothing about it. Them athletes, they love them white cheeks, bro. Them white Beckys, they addicted.
Jaden Daniels' mom, and I do understand that a lot of people say that she does too much and that she's too controlling and that she might possibly have a weird relationship with her son. And look, I totally understand, but all I'm gonna say is, at no point is he gonna stop being her baby boy.
My son about to be a savage, bro. Fuck this. My son cannot go outside, bro. Not at all.
When it comes down to
you gonna be a fucking...
I would much rather his mom being overprotective about him than him being played by some girl or getting into a situation that could possibly ruin his career. All I'm gonna say is LeVar Ball didn't make the ball.
LeVar, now I ain't gonna lie. If I'm not mistaken, all of these dudes got BMs. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if Melo got a BM, but I know he's dating some old chick. Hey, you know what I'm saying, to each his own. But I think LeVar can still give himself a pat on the back. I think he did a solid job raising these dudes to not go out super sad. 2 of them made it to the league. Pretty good, man. He did pretty good.
Brothers through gentle hands-off parenting. You got to understand, with the parents of these athletes, they've invested a lot of time and effort into their kids to make them into the stars that they are.
For
so
sure.
I'll never blame them for being overprotective with their kids. That's literally their investment.
I've been training them boys since they've been 2 years old.
Okay, so even before that?
Before that.
Okay.
All my boys were potty trained before 10 months. I get in the ghetto Olympics. What I mean by that, in the living room, I didn't have no couches and stuff. I had a table. Let them jump off the table and see if they can land on that mat without falling down. Very competitive at an early age.
Our thing is like, I want Jaden to date. I don't want everybody to say I'm putting it on record. My son can date. He can live freely, makes his own decisions. However, the relationship we have, he does value my opinion because, you know, when my kids were little, I did a lot for them. So, and my kids saw that. My father, my background, I worked too hard to allow anybody at any moment to come in and just, you know, take it away. So I have a view of what I feel a good person is.
You gotta respect
and, you know,
that.
but my son is 24 and he does have to go through things and he has to learn on his own.
You know, you were very honest about protecting him. You said predators, also protecting him from women who can be predators. And we've seen that all through sports. We see it after their careers. We see it in business.
And I don't put this in street terms. I don't mean to be disrespectful about what I'm about to say. But I took it as she said, this nigga's slow. This nigga's going to be, they going to get this nigga. So I got to stay by this nigga's side.
He doesn't know what he doesn't know. And he knows.
Nah, not at all. The fuck? It ain't got nothing to do with being slow. It's just that when you're a kid, you see the world through rose-tinted glasses. You don't know what you don't know. And unfortunately, a lot of young people have to learn shit the hard way because they don't have a parent they can trust. And that's a sad thing. They either don't have a responsible parent with the wisdom that they need, or maybe that parent has that wisdom and all that, but the kid doesn't trust them. And that's an unfortunate thing. That's why it's so important for you to be on your P's and Q's as a man. For all my young brothers listening to this, see, if you're successful, if you live a life where shit really goes in your favor most of the time, then when you have a young boy, he's going to look at you and he's going to hang on every word you say. He's going to listen to you. He's going to trust you because he's going to want to replicate the life that you've built for yourself. And because from a young age, you showing that you love him and you're there for him and you sacrifice for him, he knows that not only do you want that for him, but you want him to have something better than what you had. And so if he knows that, then he's going to trust you. He's going to listen to you. Because here's the thing, young men always go off typically and seek a mentor anyway. It's like it's built in a man's DNA to seek out an older, wiser man that you believe can help you on your own hero's journey, that can give you the wisdom. You see it in video games, you see it in anime, you see it in movies, and you've probably seen it in your own life. I mean, shit, some of you might even look at me like that. And that is an honor, although it's not completely accurate because you really need more of that one-on-one mentoring. But still, whatever value I can offer to you, it is truly an honor that I can share some of the wisdom that I've gone through. But again, the only reason that some of y'all even want to listen to me is because you see aspects of my life that you want to replicate and maybe even build upon and do even better. And I want that for all of you. Now, that's the thing, though. All young men want that. And really, the person that should get that role automatically is your father. But unfortunately, a lot of guys make poor decisions in regards to building that relationship, that trust, and setting that example for their children. And so those kids don't end up listening to their fathers and looking in other areas where, unfortunately, a lot of times they run into people who aren't looking out for them the way that you would look out for your own because they're not blood. You feel me?
That's what he's been doing. And he does it very well. And he's been, very acclimated in sports since he was young, but he doesn't know the business world. He doesn't know the predators or the vultures that could be out there. And so he feels very comfortable in knowing that not only am I educated and qualified to do it, I'm also his mom. And
you see, mothers like Regina are the same ones who prevent situations like the one that's going on with Anthony Edwards. Now, I don't mean to speak ill of Anthony Edwards' family because I know his mom passed away, but I'm sure if he had a strong female presence, a strong female relative in his life, she would have played a role in preventing him from getting multiple women pregnant and from getting a woman who has multiple children with other men and is known for her predatory practices pregnant. Keep in mind, this lady is significantly older than him.
I read comments that say, oh, you're a gold digger, or you kept the baby for a check. What if I came to y'all's pages, right? And I compared the men that you have children with to the men that I have children with. And I said, Now,
I don't know why this bitch even responded. Not to call her out of her name. I don't know you like that. I don't know why this chick is even doing this. Actually, I do. We all know. But still, she is making a point. She's a savage. She's elite, bro. She got her baby daddies are millionaires and successful people. You know what I'm saying? You got women out here being BMs for bums. So you got to give her a round of applause, truly. And she's up there in age. I think she's like 39. So she truly is elite.
You were digging for poverty when you picked him to be your baby daddy, weren't you? Oh, you kept that baby for an extra income tax.
Like, bro, honestly, if you got a sister and she told you, oh, I got pregnant and the dude don't want to, this ain't a serious relationship, we're not going to get married and all that. And you're like, damn, who's the baby daddy? If you find out bro is the mailman, or bro is a bartender, or bro is fucking into crypto, you might go, shit. Now, you got some dudes who make a lot of money doing those things, but maybe not mailman shit. But if you found out that he was like a superstar, he was a elite rapper or elite NBA or NFL player, you feel a little bit better about it. You know what I'm saying? So credit where credit is due.
Didn't you? Or you kept that baby for a couple extra $100 in food stamps, didn't you? Or you kept that baby for an extra Section 8 voucher. Is that why you kept your baby? Now, if that was triggering, that's how I feel every time somebody says, do you even love that baby?
You shouldn't even hate or pay no mind to the haters. You know what I'm saying?
You kept that baby for a check. Oh, yeah, baby. I'm on one tonight. We gonna talk about it. Because, see, I sat back and I watched y'all in your dirty bonnets, lay back on your headboards, or in your cars with the cloth seats. I saw you. And you voiced your opinion about what you would have did if you were in my situation, with my options that you do not have, and you probably never will. How you gonna tell me what you would have did with my situation when you had a baby for your weed man?
And another thing is, she didn't trick these niggas into sleeping with her, right? They, of their own free will, got down and dirty with her with no protection and left that in. They left it in. You know what I'm saying? They went in and they were like, I'm going to leave this in. I'm going to fill you up. Glug, glug, glug. All right, my bad.
Or you had a baby for that dude that be robbing everybody. Or you had a baby for the booster. Or you had a baby for the dude that you have to run down for $250. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Keep in mind, she didn't deny any allegations. She basically just told everyone, you're mad that you couldn't do what I did, huh? You can't be as pretty, you can't be in the same position to be able to take advantage of these young men. If that's not a sad existence, I don't know what is. And
now listen, I ain't gonna lie, I respect it. I think women should go shoot for the best they can get. You know what I'm saying? I think women should see themselves in the highest way possible and present themselves in the most beautiful way possible and aim for the moon. I think everybody should aim for the stars in everything. You know what I'm saying? So I don't hate on it. She didn't make these dudes leave that shit in.
Saddest part about this whole situation is that they brought a baby into the world that neither of them really wanted. And the thing is, all this stuff is on the internet. So one of these days that baby's gonna...
I don't say that. You don't know she don't want that. She for sure wanted that baby for multiple reasons. You know what I'm saying? She got fucking elite genetics because her father, the baby daddy, has already proved that he's an elite nigga. She got elite genetics. Then she got a man that even if he doesn't want anything to do with the baby, just by what the court orders, he's going to have to give her a good amount of bread. Enough bread that she could live off of easily. You know what I'm saying? And then if he is somewhat involved in the child's life, then that's an extra. That's a plus. So, and she probably grew up in a broken home. And so she really upgraded. I wouldn't even call her a predator, bro. She's just smart.
Grow up, see all this mess, and then realize, oh, my parents didn't actually want me. And Anthony Edwards made it super clear that he doesn't want anything to do with the kid, because he not only gave up custody, but he paid all 18 years of child support payments all at once. And I think a whole separate conversation,
I know he wanted to do that. I don't know if he actually got the okay to do that,
in general, needs to be had about older people going after much younger people. For example, the situation with Shannon Sharp and the spicy content creator Gabby Zuniga, like the timing seems a little bit strange, you know, just after he just signed a $100 million deal and all of a sudden she's claiming that he did something to her, especially when you consider the already overly freaking...
He ain't even signed it yet, to be real. It's just on the table.
Relationship that they had. I mean, she allegedly texted him, I want you to put a big black baby in me. Is that not crazy to say in the big 2025? And then on the other side, we got Tracy Ellis Ross claiming that she only likes younger men.
That often I date younger men. And a lot of it is because...
Let's stop on that, folks.
Oh my God. We had
Oh shit, Michelle?
Dinner.
On that.
I didn't know Michelle had a podcast.
Great dinner, by the way, where across the table, your husband goes, but why? And I said, well, maybe because I can.
Yes, Aries. This is what I'm saying. Tales from Tracy's.
It's fun. It's very fun to share.
Tracy tale.
But
I'm sorry.
But one of the reasons, though, that because I had to ask myself that question, I was like, what is this about?
Yeah.
Because I want a partner, and
She like that young dick. That's all that is. She like that young wood. She don't want no arthritis wood. She want to get her back blown out. You know what I'm saying? Now, she
so often, and it's not just that I'm older. I'm also very embodied. I am a full, very whole person who knows myself, who is in charge of my life, and who lives a very full, just robust life. So it's not just age, it's like life experience and sort of a difference. But I had to ask myself the question, why? Why does this keep sort of coming up other than they're hot and gorgeous?
There's that.
There's that. But a lot of men my age are steeped in a toxic masculinity. and have been raised in a culture where there is a particular way that a relationship looks.
Sure.
And anything that starts to smell of that for me, I did enough of it where I was controlled and felt like I was a possession or whatever those things were, or prize I have no interest in it, and I will not do it again.
And I mean, after watching that, I guess she might have some value.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's real though. You don't need to control your woman for you to have a peaceful life. In fact, you don't even got to control your woman for her to act in a way that is conducive to you having a peaceful life. I've realized, again, this is in alignment with all the spiritual shit we talk about, and you can check out my spiritual channel, link in the description if you're curious. But what you resist persists. When you hold something too tightly, that shit don't work properly, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to, I mean, my relationship's in the best place it's ever been. And I feel like we respect each other the most we've ever respected each other. Yet this is the least I've ever actively tried to control my wife in terms of what she does, what she wants to do, even the way how she feels. Now, of course, you never tolerate disrespect, but even that, I feel like my wife gets way less disrespectful, way less often. And for me, when I say disrespect, I don't want you over here thinking that my wife out here calling me out of my name or no shit like that. That shit would never fucking fly with me, period, point blank. But I come from a culture where, to me, I think it's disrespectful if you even just catch an attitude. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing. All women catch an attitude. Everybody catches an attitude, but especially women. You feel me? Because women are a little bit more emotional than men because of hormones and shit like that. And so I'm saying I experience even less of that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all because you get back what you put out into the universe. If you focus on yourself, you focus on maintaining an energetic state of peace and serenity, then that's what you get back from every aspect of the external, including your chick. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is, if she does not conform in a way to reflect your internal state of peace, it means the universe is getting ready to get her up out of your life. That's the reality of it, because everything must conform to your internal state, everything. And so if it's not going to change and adapt, it will leave. It will be removed.
Valid reasons, but at the same time, there's no way that there
So you don't gotta be the, you know what I'm saying, stereotypical macho, man that the way how you will hear in the red pill space or even in religious spaces in order to get your girl to act in a way. Because at the end of the day, you just want a life of peace, bro. You want a life of peace. That's what you want. And you don't got to become some simp beta bitch boy that just lets your wife walk all over you. See, that's what you'll hear in a lot of religious spaces. You only got two options. Either you fucking hold on to your wife with a death grip where you rule over her like she's your fucking child, or she walks all over you like you some kind of simp beta bitch boy. They'll trick you into thinking that those are your only options, but there's a third option, and that is just being the master of your reality by focusing on your energy. But again, if you want more content like that, go ahead and check out my spiritual channel.
Any men her age who are attractive and also have a progressive mindset. And also just want to call out the double standard, because imagine a man said something like this about younger women. I know bro's getting bashed all over the internet. They're calling this man a creep, a freaky frog, all types of crazy stuff. And I mean, that's basically what they're doing to Shannon Sharpe. But honestly, the way it's looking, that might be a topic that I have to make a whole separate video for. But to wrap up the video, I find it super sad that there are people who are willing to pretend like they care.
My nigga said to wrap up the video. We not even halfway in the video.
Or that they love some of these young,
we a little more than halfway,
successful men just to take advantage of them. And it's crazy because once they get them where they want them, once they get that financially well-off person to like them or actually be interested in them, they'll do things like claim abuse or keep a baby that neither of them actually want just to have some sort of control over that person. And they always end up tarnishing their reputation and villainizing them online. A somewhat similar example of this is the DDG and Halle situation. And yes, I know Halle has her own money, but I feel like a lot of the stunts that she pulled were done with the intention of trying to control DDG. For example, when she went to Twitter and tweeted about how DDG has their son on Kai Cenat's stream. Even the way she worded that tweet was in a way to make DDG look bad. I don't
Yeah, hi everyone. Just so you know, I am out of town and I don't approve of my baby being on stream tonight. I wasn't told or notified, and I am extremely upset to have my baby in front of millions of people. I am his mother and protector and saddened that this wasn't notified, especially when I am out of town. This did come back around to bite her because she became a hypocrite because she put her baby online too.
Approve of my baby being on stream tonight, and I am extremely upset to have my baby viewed by millions of people.
Everybody knows Moo is the best daddy to him, but I miss him so much.
Like, is he good with changing diapers and doing all that? And not that men can't, but you know.
No, he's such an amazing dad. It's literally the sweetest thing in the world because we've always. Oh yeah, I mean he's a great dad, but I always knew that he would be like this. You know, we had talked about it before, and yeah, that's just the type of person he is. So Halo is really lucky.
Not only did she praise the type of father he is, she also praised the type of person he is. So logically speaking, I don't know where this shift would come all of a sudden where he would just disregard his son's.
She just hate that nigga. That's what happens when you have a falling out with your girl, with your baby mama, with your wife, whatever. She gonna fucking hate your guts. You know what I'm saying? And now everything you do is terrible.
Safety when it would just no longer be his priority. And I also don't know how him being on a stream compromises that safety. Halo is literally all over her social media page, which gets millions of views. See him right there, see him right there, see him right there. And I bet we'll see more of him if you scroll down. He's right there. And then we got the news that came out a few days ago. Halle claims that DDG got physical with her and she put a restraining order on him. And now she's using the courts to limit how much he can see Halo, limiting him to 6 hours a week. And I know a lot of people always scream, believe the victim.
That's a lot. Like, that's a big restriction. Most divorced dads or co-parenting dads who don't have full custody or even 50% custody, they can at least get a few days, 2-3 days out of the week with the kid. So 6 hours a week, 6 hours a week, the kid can't even sleep over at that point. You know what I'm saying? You're basically, that's insane, dude. Babysitters spend more time with kids than that.
But when you have stuff like the Amber Heard case, and you have stuff like Xavier Worthy's case, and I hate to bring this up,
but don't ever forget, guys, you reap what you sow. DDG is reaping what he sows. As sad as that is to say, he is reaping what he sowed.
Emmett Till's case. At some point, we gotta learn to be a little bit more patient. For example, I've seen so many comment sections that said, oh, Halle already presented concrete evidence, that's why she got a restraining order. But I bet you guys never knew this.
Halle Bailey did not secure a restraining order against DDG. That is not what happened. A judge in LA granted her what is called a temporary protective order, which is an entirely different thing than an actual restraining order.
Okay.
And doesn't take nearly as much effort, time, or standard of proof as an actual restraining order. In my extensive research of finding out just what the process of acquiring a restraining order in the state of California is like, I came across a few things that were very interesting. First of all, you can't just file for a restraining order. You have to first file for a temporary restraining order or a temporary protective order, as it's called sometimes. And those are fairly easy to get. In fact, usually within a 24-hour period, a judge takes on your case and decides if you're deserving of a temporary protective order. And the reason I said that they're fairly easy to obtain is because, one, the person being filed against doesn't even have to be present, so they're not an actual court proceeding. And two, the judge that grants the temporary restraining order doesn't have to be convinced beyond every reasonable doubt. Clear and convincing evidence is not required for a temporary restraining order, which is, as you can see, not as strict as the proof beyond a reasonable doubt. And you can see that's the case. If you look at the pictures that TMZ apparently acquired magically from the legal proceedings of this entire thing, these pictures aren't proof of beyond a reasonable doubt. They're only proof that Halle Bailey somehow, some way got hurt. There's no real way to prove that DDG was the one that inflicted all that damage. And by the way, as a quick side note, I'm being sarcastic about TMZ because I know for a fact that Rock Nation has used TMZ as a propaganda tool multiple times in the past. If you know, you know. But we'll talk about that later. Back to the main point. Now, the temporary restraining order, if it is granted by the judge, only lasts about 2 to 3 weeks, usually. And the reason it lasts only that long is because it's kind of a way to create some kind of a buffer, a separation between the two parties until a proper court hearing. where it would actually be determined with a higher standard of proof if a more permanent restraining order would be necessary going forward, which can last up to 5 years in some cases. So basically, in about 3 weeks from now, Halle has to be with DDG in court to prove to a judge that she actually does need that restraining order against DDG. And it'll be her lawyers, her defense team's job to make that case to the judge. And what do you know, after doing a little more digging, I found out that they do have a court date. It's June the 4th, which is about 3 weeks from now. So in conclusion, this whole thing is being blown way out of proportion. DDG is not in trouble at all. I'm not saying he's necessarily in a good place, but these are allegations at best.
Okay, well, that's a good thing to know, in the sense that this situation with DDG not being able to see his kid for more than 6 hours at a time is not permanent. It's not set in stone. It might be repealed as soon as within 3 weeks. And so that's good to know.
And a judge in LA granting a temporary restraining order to Halle Bailey is not proof that DDG actually did anything.
Sure.
Again, we have to remember there's different standards of proof and evidence in the court of law. I did some more research and found out you could get a temporary restraining order based off of hearsay. No joke. Just get a couple of your buddies to say the same thing you're saying in writing or on audio, and boom, TRO. Now, as for my personal opinion, do I actually believe there was some kind of physical altercation between the two of them? Yeah. Do I think that?
I think so. I definitely believe that's the case. I definitely believe that both of them put hands on each other. I don't believe that DDG ever struck Halle, though. I do believe that DDG probably restrained Halle, maybe even pushed Halle or however you say her name, at different points in time in the middle of an altercation. That I am also probably, now this is maybe my male bias here, willing to go out on a limb and say that she more than likely started. I am willing to bet money that in any situation where DDG had to get physical with Halle, she's the one that got up in his face, put hands on him first. I'm willing to bet money of that. And I don't believe DDG ever hit her. Because trust me, that picture would look bad. And you would have seen it. She wouldn't send pictures of some little bruises on her arms to the judge. She would send the pictures of her lip being busted up, her eye being black.
Find a way to separate the two from each other. Absolutely. But do I think that Halle Bailey and Rock Nation will get the court to see DDG as such a deplorable human being that she will be granted full custody of their kid? Absolutely not. And honestly, the reason for that is how restraining orders work, especially when there's a kid involved. Even if she's somehow able to prove to the court that DDG was violent against her, it doesn't show intent to harm the kid.
And look, I'm not by any means saying that you shouldn't believe the victim. I don't support any form of oppression, but it's innocent until proven guilty. You have to give both parties the benefit of the doubt. This guy isn't gonna go into hiding or something, or, evade the American government. If he's in the wrong, he's gonna pay for what he did. But we as a society have to make sure.
Yeah, it's gotta be innocent until proven guilty. And the reality is, look, sometimes guilty people, bad people, get away with their crimes because they cover their tracks well, or the victim did not preserve evidence. Especially with relationship shit, bro, it can be tough because it could be that a chick, suffers some kind of abuse, but in that moment, at that point in time, she still sees the person she's with as her significant other. She's not thinking, oh, I'm about to leave this nigga, oh, I'm about to sue this nigga, oh, I'm about to put him in jail. Especially if on some level she knows she's partially responsible for the altercation. And so she might not, be on some, oh, go to the police station right away. Like, I see that comment in the comment section down below. Look, man, I know women personally who have been truly abused domestically, and they didn't go to the police. At that point in time, they didn't want to. They didn't want to put their person in jail. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? And so when people say shit like that, like, it's not taking into account that humans don't always act like that. People don't always behave like that. It won't be sometimes until months, years later, when the relationship has completely fallen apart. And now this person is telling their story, but they don't really have evidence. besides maybe a picture and the account of a friend, a testimony of a friend that they may have told that, hey, this thing happened. And for a lot of people on the internet, that's not enough evidence to make you feel like this person for sure did that shit, which again, maybe they didn't. And so it's kind of one of those gray areas, but I think it's the way that we have to move, even though it leaves room for bad actors to sometimes get away with shit that they did. I think that cost is worth not putting innocent people in prison, bro. Not putting innocent people in jail. I think putting innocent people in prison or in jail is worse than letting a bad person get away with it. As fucked up as that is for a bad person to get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to ruin someone's life that don't deserve it. Because guess what? If that person, that fucked up person who did whatever they did, if that's really who they are, then they're going to get caught eventually. Karma has a way of coming back around, and shit has a way of catching up with people one way or another. And so, more than likely, if they don't change their ways, they will get caught up. So
that we have concrete evidence, especially when it comes to cases involving men. Because as a man, if your name is even anywhere close to something like this, you face irreparable damage. Even if you're proven innocent, you'll lose so many opportunities, and a lot of people will never look at you the same. And that's just the sad reality. And I'm still shocked that people can see Halle say stuff like this and not think to question that there might be a deeper side to this, that there might be more nuance to this situation.
In a relationship, I think I have anxious attachment style. Everybody knows I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. I get very passionate.
You know when they start dropping horoscope shit, you dealing with a wild one.
I seem nice online and innocent and everything, but you guys do not know. I will go to battle with my yelling. With my
Bro, what else do we need? There it go, right there. Man, I'm telling you, she put hands on that nigga, bro.
Words, everything. I'm good at that, right? And if I gotta yell,
hey man, when someone tells you who they are, believe them.
Check anyone, that's what I gotta do. That's just the way I be.
Clap back or sit back. I always have to choose clap back. I'm sorry. I'm a very kind person.
Toxic.
But if somebody
she toxic
pokes at me or the people that I love, it's over for you. I'm an Aries.
Look at that.
Never have I ever started drama with my boyfriend for no reason.
Put it down.
That's every girl though. Almost every girl. Maybe some girls out there, they were raised with some good influences, some good direction, and so they're just really healthy people. But I think most girls can put that finger down. And shit, even dudes. Have I ever started shit with my girl for no fucking reason? I can't say for no reason, but I can definitely say I've lost my patience way quicker than I needed to on some shit. I have never just got up and said, I'm ready to start a fight with my girl. I feel like women do shit like that, bro. But definitely there have been times where I crashed out without needing to. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not crash out is the right term, but turned up when I was like, I ain't never called for that.
I've you know. I'm territorial. I'm a jealous girlfriend. I'm a territorial girlfriend. Where you go, who are you with? That's me.
I am.
Oh yeah. No. So you know this shit killing her, bro. Seeing DDG with all these women, at least when it started happening, you know that shit was destroying her. It probably still eat her up because that's her BD. And I really do believe that when you see, because you take so much from a woman when you get her pregnant, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. You take something from her she can never get back. Her body is changed forever in a way that she can never recover from. You know what I'm saying? Now, I still believe that a woman's body can be very beautiful and attractive after having children. Most certainly, they have the term MILF for a reason. But, you know, when that girl looks in the mirror, she knows that things don't look like they did before she had the kid. Right? This is why so many celebrities, female celebrities, are going the route of using surrogates to have their babies instead of getting pregnant themselves, because of what that process does to a woman's body. Then, of course, you greatly reduce their appeal to other men. I don't think men take nearly as much of a hit when they have a kid and things don't work out with their girl, and they are out in the world now trying to find a new chick. A lot of women, they don't give a fuck about that. If anything, it can actually make you more attractive to women because they got verification that your nut works. You feel me? You can produce healthy, good-looking children. And so they're like, oh, fuck yeah, we already got this shit verified. I got the Yelp review right here. This little nigga right here. You know what I'm saying? Or this little baby girl right here. Look, he makes healthy, beautiful children. And then as long as you can financially continue to provide for that child and now take her on, shit, that might even make you more attractive if you already got kids. But not the same for chicks. Not the same. Other than the fact that the first thing we talked about, which is that it changes their body, sometimes in a negative way, sometimes in a dramatically negative way for some chicks. It's like if you're a dude, a lot of dudes, they don't want to share a BM. So it just reduces overall their appeal. Even if you're famous, even if you're beautiful, even if you're rich, like a Halle Bailey, you still taking a hit. And so when they wanted that relationship to work out and it doesn't work out, I feel like that it plants a root of bitterness in their hearts, even if they're a good person otherwise. I don't know Halle. Halle's probably a real sweet chick. You know, she's probably a sweet girl. But when it comes to this fucking love relationship, baby daddy shit, bro, it can make a woman do some real vindictive shit. It can make them real bitter. And I won't even go as far as to say it's completely unjustified. She probably had dreams of being a Beyonce, Jay-Z type dynamic with DDG. She probably wanted to do so much to help his career and help him accelerate. And the reality is, if DDG did just lock in with Halle and they just matured and got better in their relationship, she probably would have elevated this nigga. He probably would be a lot bigger if they still had a good, healthy relationship and just got through the hard part and just locked in and raised their kid in a nuclear family. I have no doubt in my mind he'd be bigger than he is today. You know what I'm saying? And so she probably wanted to do all that shit for him. And now she's just bitter, bro. I can't even fully blame her for that. But at the end of the day, you know we got to ride out for our niggas. And even though I don't know DDG as just a fellow dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to see him getting hit with shit that he don't deserve. You know, allegations he doesn't deserve. You don't want to see that shit.
Nosy, number one. And number two, I like drama. I just don't like drama in my life, but I love watching it in other people's. So, I love my baby so much. I need him with me in order to function, in order to be able to do the scenes and everything. So, he's been out here with me majority of the time. But this week, and I go home on the weekends. But this week, I had a lighter week, and I'm going home tomorrow. So I got here last night, and I'm going home tomorrow. So I was like, let me try to test myself and see if I can be without him for a day and leave him, let him and his daddy have daddy and son time. And you guys, I miss him so much. But everybody knows Moo is the best daddy to him, but I miss him so much. Yesterday on the plane, I was crying, and I went to...
Man, this is just sad, bro. I ain't gonna lie. This part's just making me sad, for real. Damn, bro. This made me sad. And I don't like seeing this shit, bro. I don't like seeing either of these people getting vilified because they're just young, bro. They're just young, and they were in love, and they tried a thing, and they didn't have the right mindset. They didn't have the right influences, the right guidance. And now shit is getting messy online. I wish they didn't bring this shit online. You feel me? I'm just sad for them. I'm sad for the boy, because I really do feel, even though I don't know any of the people involved, they are probably all decent people, man. DDG, Halle. Of course, the baby is perfectly innocent in all of this. And so it's just sad, man. It's sad shit went the way it did for them.
You know the little airport stores? I bought a teddy bear and I was like clutching it to my chest. I bought a Build-A-Bear and a blanket and I was clutching it to my chest, literally on the plane last night, crying to not feel like miserable without him. I love him so much, guys. I don't know how this is possible. Anyway.
And again, I have to repeat, I'm not saying don't believe the victim. I'm just saying let the justice system do what it does. And then once all the evidence comes out and we get a verdict, then you guys can go ahead and hate on that individual. But until then, at least give them the benefit of the doubt and don't try to destroy their life.
For sure. I agree with that ending point 1,000%. Man, today was a day of yapology, man. We somehow made this 25-minute video into a almost hour-long reaction, but I know a lot of y'all really like these longer reactions, and I think it was some pretty good conversation we had, man. But go ahead and like the video, subscribe. Remember, you can check out my spiritual channel linked in the description down below. I appreciate y'all. Let's lock in. Peace out.